Hi 10th grade, Miss Stapp here. I'm just bringing you your weekly introduction to the lessons. And I'm going to go through, just like I did last time, through the plan and try to help you understand what I'm looking for so that when you're ready to begin, you have all the tools you need. So as you can see, we're on podcast lesson number 7. I'm always going to include some of those podcasts I'd like you to listen to or things that I think that are interesting. Hopefully you're listening to podcasts yourself right now on your own with all your time at home. You need something interesting to do in between your homework. Let's see. Okay. This is where the work starts. At step 1, we're going to research available podcasting tools. So you should be thinking now about that equipment that you're going to need to use when you move forward with your podcast. Things like a microphone. You can definitely use your phone. But if you have a mic, I have one next to me, or things that you use for music at home, those would be perfectly appropriate to use here. If you did a podcast for, say, your personal project, you might already be familiar with some of these tools, and please let us know what you think is really effective and successful, and I will share that with your classmates. Audacity is a free audio editing software, and you can go on and register for that. They have a lot of tutorials, and it's been recommended by several teachers that use it at Imagine. I haven't used it a whole lot yet, so if you start playing with it, please tell me what you think. Next, we're going to have to host our podcast on some kind of platform. So here's an article about the 5 best free podcast hosting services, and I'd like you to look through and at least become familiar with some of the requirements of those podcast hosting services and some of these names as we move forward. You just keep those in mind for the future when we start recording and practicing your podcast. Step 2, identify and prioritize your research. As I move through, you're going to see some tables that we used for the escape room, so they should be somewhat familiar with you. And I wanted to remind you that your questions need to be SMART, so specific and achievable and timely. And I've given you a little reminder here about how those SMART questions should look and what's the difference between a SMART question and a question that is not SMART. So after you read, make sure you use the Access FM table provided. And let me show you that really quick. Here it is. Does that look familiar? Yes. You're going to start working on those research questions. This is step 1 of the research project portion. And you're going to make sure, I'm going to highlight it here, that the questions you're designing, when you go through and you fill out this table 1 through 3, they are questions, not the answers. Over here on the right-hand side, you can start kind of considering where you will find those sources and resources, but that will actually be more in the next table when you go forward and you do the research and find the answers. So let's go back. Here's our plan. Step 3, and this is what I just talked about, you're actually going to write those questions and the research answers. So again, and we did this last time, I would like you to be conducting some surveys and interviews. You are going to have to use 4 different types of sources. So sources can include books, articles, and remember articles can be from newspapers or magazines or websites. You can also use surveys or interviews or company profiles. This means that of those 5 categories I have listed, you need to use 4 of them. Okay. Let's look at that table really quick. It's going to be familiar to you. Here it is. Here we go. So again, I have reminded you here at the top that you need 4 types of resources. You're going to prioritize and use from your table that you just did on Access FM. Find the 5-12 most important to your project questions. Write them over here on the left-hand side. In the middle, do appropriate citation, please, and indicate if these are primary or secondary resources. And on the right-hand side, you will put your answers. So let's see. I think that's a everything about that table. Let's go back. Okay. Oh, I've included some links to some templates that you might use here for surveys or the materials, search, or interview questions. So as you scroll down, we're going to be analyzing 3 existing products. I have a table for you here to fill out. It looks a lot like the first table I talked about today. But here you're actually analyzing the process using Access FM. And I have 3 products that I would like you to analyze. Remember, these are podcasts. And as I talk about in the plans, make sure the podcasts you analyze are something that you can compare your podcast to. So possibly the same style that you intend, like it's an interview or a panel style podcast, or maybe that same theme. So something that you can compare your podcast to as you're analyzing other products in order to make your podcast as successful and as high quality as you can. So you're going to fill out that table, and then I think it's going to be fun, and let me know if you have questions or if this is difficult for you to do for some reason. But I'd like you to create a video presentation, and you can do a TikTok. This can be in song or any way you want to analyze those 3 podcasts that you chose to look at for elements that you might consider for your own podcast. So talk to me again. Email me if you have questions about that. Make it fun. Step 5, you are going to develop your design brief. This is a little bit like that problem that we did. I have listed for you all those things I'm looking for in the brief. Remember, we are working for National Public Radio, and so you want to align your goals with them, just like we did in the problem. Justify how you expect to solve the problem for MDR, describe your research in detail, and so forth. Good. I would like you to use in-text citation, just like you did for your problem. And here at the bottom, these will all be formatives. So I have your checklist here. I have formatives listed next to them. The way we are going to do this, and you are going to see your grades moving forward, is that I will put them after this date has passed. I will put them up, and each task will receive a grade. I know that's kind of hard to think about. Right now we have all of your planner on one task, but after you complete and upload the task to ManageBack and I grade them, I'm going to make these into individual grades, and you will see them appear individually. So please continue to email me with questions. I hope this little introduction was informative, and I look forward to seeing you all very soon on Zoom. Bye.